Hello, and welcome to the Postsecondary Readiness Indicator Training. My name is Shara Savage, a program consultant in the Office of Assessment and Accountability. Joining me later in this presentation is Scott Uselis, the Data Manager in the Office of Career and Technical Education. This back-to-school training will review all parts of the Postsecondary Readiness State Indicator. I will give you the overview of the Postsecondary Readiness Indicator and the academic readiness portion, and Scott will cover the career readiness portion. So first, let's review the overall postsecondary readiness. Postsecondary readiness is the attainment of the necessary knowledge, skills, and disposition for a student to successfully transition to the next level of his or her educational career. In order to demonstrate post-secondary readiness, high school students must earn a regular or alternative high school diploma or be classified as a grade 12 non-graduate and meet one type of readiness, academic or career. This includes all students with a G code in Infinite Campus. Grade 12 non-graduates are included in post-secondary readiness and are accountable based on the 100-day rule. The Office of Assessment and Accountability, or OAA, will collaborate with the Office of Career and Technical Education and other stakeholders to define some of these measures listed in Senate Bill 59 of 2022 further. For example, completing a number of hours in a cooperative or internship has not been an approved measure in the past and will require LSAC and KBE to determine the number of hours acceptable for these work-based learning opportunities. In addition to the number of hours, an acceptable process for data collection will need to be developed, which will take some time to develop and implement and may not be available for fall 2022 reporting. However, in the fall of 2022, KDE will report measures from Senate Bill 59 that are available, such as meeting a college readiness benchmark score on a college admissions examination or college placement examination, earning a C or higher in 3 hours of KDE approved dual credit, the meeting approved benchmarks on AP, IB, or CAI examinations, earning an approved industry certification, scoring at or above the benchmarks on the CTE end of program assessment for articulated credit, or completing a KDE approved apprenticeship program. The accountability system performance for each district, school, and student demographic group determined by the state indicators will be based on a combination of annual performance called status and the difference between the prior year and the current year called change. For each state indicator, there will be 5 status levels ranging from very high to very low, and 5 change levels ranging from increase significantly to decline significantly. Post-secondary readiness is one of 6 indicators in the overall accountability system. An overall accountability score is generated by combining indicator scores by their percentage of weight. The post-secondary readiness indicator is weighted at 20% of the overall score for high schools. The post-secondary readiness is calculated based on the students who graduate, and the non-graduates are calculated by adding the number of high school graduates plus grade 12 non-graduates who have met measures of post-secondary readiness divided by the total number of graduates plus grade 12 non-graduates. So, for example, a school had 50 grade 12 non-graduates and graduates with 6 industry certification students in high-demand sectors and 40 students to meet readiness. The calculation would be 6 times 1.25 plus 40 times 1.0 divided by 50, giving you 0.95, then multiply by 100 to give you a score of 95. Senate Bill 59 requires that post-secondary readiness for each high school student be measured by one benchmark. Therefore, a student meeting or exceeding a college readiness benchmark score on the college admissions examination or a college placement examination approved by the Council on Post-Secondary Education would have met this indicator. Another way for a student to meet academic readiness is by achieving 3 hours of college credit or post-secondary articulated credit by completing a course approved by the Kentucky Board of Education. Dual credit is defined as a college-level course of study developed in accordance to KRS 164.098, in which a high school student receives credit from both the high school and post-secondary institution in which the student is enrolled upon completion of a single class or designated program of study. Eligible dual credit courses for academic readiness are approved annually by KDE. Students must complete one of the approved dual credit courses with a grade of C or higher in order to meet this indicator. Advanced placement, or AP, means a college-level course that incorporates all topics and instructional strategies specified by the College Board on its standard syllabus for a given subject in its license by the College Board. Students enrolled in Advanced Placement, AP, coursework may take the corresponding AP assessments. Those who earn a score of 3 or higher on an approved AP exam are considered academic ready. International Baccalaureate, or IB, means the International Baccalaureate Organization's diploma program, a comprehensive 2-year program designed for highly motivated students. Students must earn a score of 5 or more on one approved IB exam. The Cambridge Advanced International Certificate of Education Diploma Program is an international pre-university curriculum and examination system offered by Cambridge International Examinations at the University of Cambridge. Students must earn a score of E or higher on one approved Cambridge exam. For the 22 fall reporting, OAA will accept ACT, SAT, Coyote, GED College Readiness, and ALEX for the 21-22 Post-Secondary Readiness Indicator. However, OAA only receives scores from the ACT and Coyote exams. If a school uses the SAT, GED College Readiness, or the ALEX exams, the school will need to ensure OAA receives the scores. For the 2023 fall reporting and students entering into the 22-23 school year, OAA will accept the AccuPlacer and EdReady assessments for the 22-23 Post-Secondary Readiness Indicator. However, as a reminder, OAA only receives scores from the ACT and Coyote. If the school uses the SAT, GED College Readiness, AccuPlacer, EdReady Diagnostic, or the ALEX exam, the school will need to ensure OAA receives the scores. KDE has worked to update the overview of the Kentucky's Post-Secondary Readiness Measure resource for districts and schools. This valuable resource can be found on the KDE webpage. This concludes the academic readiness portion of the indicator. At this time, I will turn it over to Scott Uselis, who will cover the career readiness of the indicator.
All right, thank you, Shara. We're going to go over the career readiness indicators as part of post-secondary readiness. My name is Scott Uselis. I'm the data manager in the Office of Career and Technical Education here at KDE. And once again, we're going to go over the career readiness indicators. Okay, so let's jump into the indicators here. So we're going to look at the first indicator of career readiness, which is Career and Technical Education, or CTE dual credit. As the law reads, achieving 3 hours of college credit or post-secondary articulated credit by completing a course approved by the Kentucky Board of Education. So the way to benchmark on that, the definition we have for CTE dual credit is a KDE approved CTE dual credit course is a course in the at the post-secondary institution that aligns closely with a CTE course and course code that is valid within a KDE approved secondary career pathway. So the eligible course codes, to be eligible to benchmark in CTE dual credit, that course code has to live, quote unquote, in one of our CTE pathways as published in our CTE program of studies document for that particular school year. Students must complete one of the approved dual credit courses, course codes with a letter grade of C or higher to meet this indicator. This is similar to the old system. Of course, the old system, you had to benchmark on 2 courses, eligible courses. Now that has been cut down to 1. So one of the approved dual credit courses, the letter grade is still a C or higher to benchmark on this indicator. And finally, we do have a list of eligible KDE approved CTE dual credit courses and course codes. And here is a link to that document. Okay, this is still part of the first portion of the law dealing with articulated credit. And we're going to go over how exactly you would benchmark for articulated credit. So same law here, achieving 3 hours of college credit or post-secondary articulated credit by completing a course approved by the Kentucky Board of Education. So our definition of CTE post-secondary articulated credit. To meet this indicator, a student must achieve a passing score on a CTE end of program assessment. This is no different than under the old system. Under the old system, you had to benchmark on an end of program assessment. Same applies here. So really no change, but that's the way that a student may prove that they do have post-secondary articulated credit is by passing the end of program assessment, which is attached to articulated credit. A student must reach CTE concentrator status 2 or more earned credits on the transcript in a career pathway in which the CTE EOP assessment is valid to be eligible to sit for a CTE EOP assessment. No change to this at all. This has always been the threshold. A student must be a concentrator. In other words, 2 or more earned credits in the pathway that's attached to that EOP assessment. No change there. And then finally, here's a link to the valid CTE EOP assessments for the 2022-2023 school year. Okay, the next career readiness indicator we're going to look at is the work-based learning piece. So the way the law reads, completing a required number of hours or achieving a benchmark within an apprenticeship, cooperative, or internship that is aligned with a credential or associate degree and approved by the Kentucky Board of Education after receiving input from the local Superintendent's Advisory Council, or LSAC. So to break this down a little further, there's kind of 2 components here. There's the apprenticeship piece, and then the new piece is the cooperative and internship. But taking a look at the apprenticeship piece, to meet this indicator, a student must earn the Tech Ready Apprentices for Careers in Kentucky, or TRAC certificate. The certificate is officially earned once all TRAC requirements are met and names are submitted to the Labor Cabinet for registered apprenticeship. So again, this is really not new. This was always the way a student benchmarked in terms of apprenticeship. The new piece to this is the cooperative and internship piece. So these are brand new to this post-secondary readiness indicator. So it's not yet possible for a student to meet this indicator for the 2021-2022 school year. Office of Career and Technical Education and KDE are working with various stakeholders to establish benchmarks for students to successfully complete a cooperative or internship experience. So we're in the midst of setting those benchmarks at the moment. So since we're in the midst of doing that, of course, it would not be possible for a student to benchmark in co-op or internship for the previous year, for the 21-22 school year. In future years, it will be possible for a student to benchmark in career readiness via a cooperative or an internship. And then finally, the industry certification indicator. So achieving any industry recognized certification, licensure, or credential with more weight and accountability for industry recognized certifications, licensures, or credentials identified as high demand. Okay, so not a lot of change to this one either. This is fairly, if not exactly similar to what we had previously. So to benchmark for industry certification, to meet this indicator, a student must pass a certification or stack of certifications, if applicable, on the dynamic valid industry certification list published by KDE and approved by the Kentucky Workforce Innovation Board. Again, this is exactly the same. There are certain industry certifications or stack of certifications that are deemed high demand. They're not. Industry certifications identified as high demand by the KWIB will receive 1.25 points in the state accountability model under post-secondary readiness versus 1 point for all other certifications. So there is a 1/4 point bump or multiplier for students benchmarking on industry certifications or stacks of certifications that are deemed high demand. And finally, here we have the 2022-2023 valid industry certification list that will show you which certifications are high demand and which are not. And with that, I'm going to kick it back to Shara. Shara?
Thank you, Scott. This concludes our training on the Post-Secondary Readiness Indicator. There are additional trainings available for Kentucky's accountability system, including the Accountability Overview, Quality of School Climate and Safety, Progress on English Language Proficiency, Graduation Rate, Access and Alternate Access, and the Alternate KSA. Please visit each training to learn more about Kentucky's accountability system. Here is our contact information. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us. We thank you for your participation in this training.